What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Rambling Garage. In this video, we're going to take another look at the Z90. We kind of got the ignition issues sorted out. At least I think I do. Probably have a dead battery. I just realized I left this thing on. Key on. Yeah, battery is very dead. So I'll charge that up and I will show you guys that we do have spark now using, if I can find it, this place is an absolute mess. Using this little inline spark tester from Harbor Freight, which is awesome. So we do have spark there. I'm going to actually use a Harbor Freight compression tester because, if we go over here, take a look. I have an old snap-on one, closing in on 70 years old, and it's just not holding pressure, so it's kind of hard to read. So we'll use this kit. I will do a review on this. Seems like a pretty decent kit, but we'll use this. We'll make sure we got more than 60 psi because we are running into a no start issue. I did get it running and I got to ride it a little bit. I'll post that video now. But if we come down and look in here, you can see we got a little bit of a head gasket leak. So I'm going to compression test it, see what we have. I have a new head gasket on the way. That's a real simple swap. And then we're going to go from there. So I'm going to put you guys down. We'll test this compression real quick and we'll go from there. All right, as you see there, I did crank it by hand and by foot. Just hit it by foot there at the end to make sure we're getting an accurate reading. And there's our reading. Yeah, that's like 38 psi-ish in there. Yeah, that's a problem. So we could do a leak down test, but since head gaskets for this thing are only like $5, and if we look in there, hard to see from the side. If we look in there, there are 4 studs that go straight down, and then there's just 4 nuts to remove that. So we'll pull that head off, and then we'll be able to check out the cylinder wall and all of that. We'll take a look at the cylinder. We can check to make sure the head's good. There are heads readily available online as well, thankfully. So we can look at all that stuff. Hopefully it's a head gasket. Maybe, I don't know what else it would be. Maybe it's a valve or something. Stuck valve, stuck rings maybe. I don't know. It did run good around the neighborhood and back. But as I got back, it died out on me, and then it only wanted to run a little bit. So, yeah, I have spark, fuel, and air, but need compression to mix all those together. So, this is the start of the video. We're going to wait for those head gaskets to get in. It should be in the next couple of days, and when they get here, I will continue this video. So, I will see you guys in that next video. So it's the next day here. I decided we don't have the head gasket in yet, but why should I wait for it to come in to pull the head off? So we're gonna pull this head off. We'll take a look in the cylinder, see how everything looks in there, and then we'll wait for that gasket to come in, put it back in, and compression test this thing to see where we stand. So to do this, like I said earlier, it's pretty easy. There's just the four nuts here on top. The motor mount connects here, which is also like the key cylinder housing. So we're going to pop that off. To do that, it looks like we'll probably need to pop off the brake line as well. So we will start with that, and then we'll pop the head off. All right, so we pulled that little motor mount off, and as you can see there, we have the head off of this thing. Taking a look in here, it's got a little buildup in it, but it's really not that bad. It's pretty clean. Again, this bike only has, just under 1,000 miles on it, so this stuff should look all pretty much brand new. There are a ton of rocks in there, so we'll have to clean this out. And I also sent a nut flying when I pulled it off somewhere. So we'll have to find that. But coming over here, taking a look. I have not looked in the cylinder yet, so I'm looking with you guys. Do have a little bit of something going on there on the cylinder wall, but otherwise it looks pretty clean as far as I can tell. And that piston looks pretty decent for the age. So I think tossing a head gasket on here, I can't see any major cracks or anything on here, but you can see it was seeping on this end. So we'll wait for that head gasket. We'll pop this thing off here, and we'll toss that back on there and see if we have compression again. I don't think that little mark on the cylinder wall is going to be an issue. Long term, it might kind of pose some sort of threat of sorts, but just kind of pushing that down a little further. I think it looks pretty clean in there. So we'll wait for that head gasket to come in. We'll toss that on there and put the head back on and see what we have. All right, it's time to see if this motor is screwed or if we just had a head gasket. So I picked up 2 of these guys. We're gonna toss one on there, and we did already oil up the cylinder. Let's take a look down in here. Little flashlight. There's a good bit of oil in there, but I just wanted the cylinder walls to be clean, so that'll probably pump out eventually. But the cylinder walls are clean. I didn't want to be cranking this thing with no oil on the walls because I cleaned it out with brake cleaner and just cleaned it up. So our first couple of compression ratings might be a little high because of that, because that'll kind of substitute for bad rings potentially. So we'll test this a couple of times and then see what we come up with. So I'm gonna toss this head gasket on, I'm gonna toss the head on, and then we'll give her a try. One thing I didn't show is I got all the stones and stuff out of the fins there, so it looks pretty good. And then I just cleaned up the combustion chamber as well, so it looks nice and clean. So I'm gonna toss this on. Alright, so this is how I use my non-click torque wrench. Works pretty good. I put them to about 30-35 foot-pounds based on what I saw on the internet. I didn't look in my service manual yet. But I did read an article on the internet that said you can believe like 90% of everything you read on the internet. So yeah, we're going to go with that. So we're going to put the compression tester in there, give it a shot. We'll see if we have a little more compression this time around. And if not, I guess we're pulling that stupid motor. So let's give it a shot. Alright guys, so I compression tested that, and here's what we got. That's obviously not right. I mean, not right for what we want it to be. It's right around what, 40 psi? Somewhere in there. So I decided to try and start it up anyways and see what would happen. This is what happened. So I got it outside, ran on the choke, I flipped the choke off, it was revving up just fine, died out. Realized I didn't turn the fuel on. So brought it back inside, turned the fuel on, started right up, and then died out once I took the choke off, and couldn't get it started again. So I think it's flooding itself, I think there's an issue with the carb giving too much fuel. So we're gonna have to, I rebuilt it, but I don't know if I have a jet issue or what. So I might buy some new jets here, try and rebuild it on my own, or drop it off at somewhere to take a look at it. It's just a little single barrel carb. It's super easy to rebuild, but I don't know if I'm missing something or what the deal is. So I think we're gonna pull that off. We'll send it out to someone because that's gonna have to get rebuilt either way properly. Once we get that back, if it's working properly, you know, from there maybe we'll determine if we want to rebuild the motor. I don't think we're running on 40 pounds of compression because we'd be having a lot more issues, I think. I don't think these are signs of a compression issue per se. I think these are signs of just too much fuel and carb issues. So you kind of got to see me ride it there about 10 feet. Hopefully you get to ride it some more here soon. But that's going to be the end of this video. We do have a good head gasket on there, and this actually read, I don't know if you saw in the last video, it's reading about 10 psi more. So I don't know if this is just the gauge is off. I don't know what's going on with this thing. And maybe it's right, and this thing is just running on freaking 40 psi. I highly doubt that though. So we'll keep looking into this, but this is going to be the end of this video. I want to thank you guys for watching as always, and we'll see you guys in the next Z90 video.